Good morning. This is Pastor Jeff, and this is our daily lectionary readings for Tuesday, January 31st, 2023. Our psalm reading is once again Psalm 37, verses 1 through 17. Our Old Testament reading continues in the book of Ruth. We're in chapter 2 today, verses 1 through 16, and then our New Testament reading is going to be from the book of James, chapter 5, verses 1 through 6. Let us listen in today. Psalm 37. Don't bother your head with braggarts, or wish you would succeed like the wicked. In no time they'll shiver like grass clippings and wilt like cut flowers in the sun. Get insurance with God and do a good deed. Settle down and stick to your last. Keep company with God. Get in on the best. Open up before God. Keep nothing back. He'll do whatever needs to be done. He'll validate you in your life in your clear light of day and stamp you with the approval at high noon. Quiet down before God. Be prayerful before Him. Don't bother with those who climb the ladder, who elbow their way to the top. Brittle your anger. Trash your wrath. Cool your pipes. It only makes things worse. Before long, the crooks will be bankrupt. God investors will soon own the store. Before you know it, the wicked will have at it. You'll stare at his once famous place and nothing. Down to earth, people will move in and take over. Relish a huge bonanza. Bad guys have it in for the good guys, obsessed with doing them in. But God isn't losing any sleep to him. They're a joke with no punchline. Police brandish their swords, pull back on their bows with a flourish. They're out to beat up the harmless or mug that nice man walking his dog. A banana peel lands them flat on their face. Slapstick figures in a moral circus. Less is more, and more is less. One righteous will outclass 50 wicked. For the wicked are the moral weaklings, but the righteous are God strong. Our Old Testament reading comes from the book of Ruth, chapter 2. It so happened that Naomi had a relative by marriage, a man prominent and rich, connected with Elimelech's family. His name was Boaz. One day, Ruth, the Moabite foreigner, said to Naomi, I'm going to work. I'm going out to glean among the sheaves, following after some harvesters who will treat me kindly. Naomi said, Go ahead, dear daughter. And so she set out. She went and started gleaning in a field, following in the wake of the harvesters. Eventually, she ended up in part of the field owned by Boaz, her father-in-law, Elimelech's relative. A little later, Boaz came out from Bethlehem, greeted his harvesters, God be with you. And they replied, God bless you. And Boaz asked his young servant, who was foreman over the farmman, Who is this young woman? Where did she come from? The foreman said, Why, that's the Moabite girl, the one who came with Naomi from the country of Moab. She asked permission. Let me glean, she said, and gather among the sheaves, following after your harvesters. She's been at it steady ever since, from early morning until now, without so much as a break. Then Boaz spoke to Ruth. Listen, my daughter, from now on, don't go to any other field to glean. Stay right here in this one, and stay close to my young women. Watch where they are harvesting and follow them. And don't worry about a thing. I've given orders to my servants not to harass you. When you get thirsty, feel free to go and get a drink from the water buckets that the servants have filled. She dropped to her knees, then bowed her face to the ground. How does this happen, that you should pick me out and treat me so kindly? Me, a foreigner. Boaz answered her, I've heard all about you. Heard about the way you treated your mother-in-law after the death of her husband, and how you left your father and mother and the land of your birth and came to live among a bunch of total strangers. God reward you well for what you've done, and with a generous bonus, besides from God, to whom you've come, seeking protection under his wing. She said, Oh, sir, such grace, such kindness, I don't deserve it. You've touched my heart, treated me like one of your own, and I don't even belong here. At the lunch break, Boaz said to her, Come over here Eat some bread. Dip it in the wine. So she joined the harvesters. Boaz passed the roasted grain to her. She ate her fill and even had some left over. When she got up to go back to work, Boaz ordered his servants, "Let her glean where there's still plenty of grain on the ground. Make it easy for her. Better yet, pull out some of the good stuff and leave it for her to glean. Give her special treatment." Our New Testament reading comes from the book of James, chapter 5, verses 1 through 6. And a final word to you, arrogant rich. Take some lessons in lament. You'll need buckets for tears when the crash comes upon you. Your money is corrupt and your fine clothes stink. Your greedy luxuries are a cancer in your gut, destroying your life from within. You thought you were piling up wealth. What you piled up is judgment. All the workers you've exploited and cheated, cry out for judgment. The groans of the workers you used and abused are a roar in the ears of the master avenger. You've looted the earth and lived it up, but all you've had to show for is a father than usual corpse. Let me read that again because I read it wrong. But all you have to show for it is a fatter than usual corpse. That makes a little bit more sense. In fact, what you've done is condemn and murder perfectly good persons who stand there and take it. Here ends our reading. God's blessings to you. Peace.